Team Up Friends are protecting families, protecting the pack. I want to give you an update on the bot. We're doing a moving average where we can kind of stay in position longer and then take profit when we need to based on the mover average. We can actually use the moving average to enter and actually exit based on how we auto adjust the settings in conjunction with the price motion, because that's kind of like our primary way of entering, but we have ways to override and kind of just force enter and you know, override in the direction that we wanted to go. But it turns out for moving average there's actually quite a few things to consider. I'm gonna go ahead and draw maybe a moving average that I think this is going. So let's say just pretend that maybe this is the moving average here of the 20-day. It's gonna go like that, and then it's gonna hang out, and then oh it slows down. Let's go here a little bit, and you know, all right. So you know, let's just call that as my moving average for now. That's what I think it is. Alright, so from this moving average, you can kind of see that there's actually 4 points of, I would say, degrees of freedom, you would call it, the ways it can move. And let's say, for example, I'm going to use my, maybe I have a highlighter here I can use. Let's see here. No, I'm maybe using an arrow. So right here, right? So there's a degree of freedom where it's below the moving average. So it's below that, it's going to be negative because it's, no, actually it'd be positive, right? Because the price is higher out of the moving average point, and then it's gonna go subtract that so that it'll be in a positive number. And then here, as it's going up, it'll be last price minus a higher price, so this would be a negative number. So I think I need to switch that. Come think about it, I think I had to make this opposite. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch it so that when this is up, I want this to be positive, and when this is down, I want this negative. So I want the actual current. You know, that is right. That's right. The moving average subtracted by the last price, the moving average subtracted by the last price. I'm getting confused here. That should be negative. This should be positive. Alright, basically I'm trying to get is basically the negative delta, and this should be a positive delta. Okay, so for that to happen, the current price, last price, needs to subtract the moving average, and the last price subtracts the higher moving average. That would make it negative. There you go. Sorry, I was like, I thought I had this right, and then I was like, I got confused. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. The last price is here on the candles, and we're gonna go through that. Okay, so now we have a negative and positive area. Okay, so with that negative positive area, well, depending on that, is it decreasing, coming down in this, you know, in this zone? And we're gonna have different zones where we're gonna have let me see here. I'm gonna make it a little finer with a different color, and I'm gonna choose maybe we're gonna box it around this this candle here. Let me see here. Let me pick up one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this maybe maybe 20% from distance from the moving average line, and then if it grows to where it's like maybe 0.8% distance from this line, then we're gonna do something different. Okay, so depending on the distance, it's like gaining and achieving. Sometimes it moves faster, sometimes it doesn't, but we're gonna do certain things based on where it is on that moving average. Okay, now this moving line will move with it, so we're talking about this distance here. Let me try to do a highlight here. So it'll be this distance, okay, and then this will be this distance, a little bit longer maybe. Okay, all right, so based on that, as the moving average is continuing to grow and this distance getting bigger, it's actually decreasing more and more. Okay, so let me try to do another color here. So we're gonna have a decreasing moving average, and as it crosses the line here, we're gonna have a increasing moving average. Okay, and we're also still gonna have this distance that we're gonna calculate here. As soon as it crosses over, it'll probably start out small, and then as it grows bigger, we're gonna have a bigger distance. Okay, and then as that distance decreases, it'll tighten up and close out, and that's when it tells us when to take profit. Okay, so we're gonna also have a declining here. Okay, I know it's a little chicken scratchy here. Alright, so hopefully you're able to see that screen. Okay, so now what I have here is trying to kind of the limitations of the way I'm storing things is on a text file. Okay, so it's a little difficult. I think we're moving to the point where we need databases to kind of organize this better, and I don't want to go move databases right now and convert things over and whatever. So I'm just gonna try to stick with what I have and just kind of go with it. Okay, so which is why we have 4 different possibilities where it's positive, it's in a positive direction, above the price is above the moving average, and if the less than positive percent, whereas you know down here up there kind of thing, and then also whether it's increasing or decreasing. Okay, so let me go back over here. Let me go back to my mouse, pull up my browser back up. So we're going with this again. Choose a different color. We're also going to have a certain percentage from that top. Moving on to this one out, and on also certain distance from this top. So let's say it does move into a bigger distance here. We're going to actually take a we'll do some moves here. So let's move that much, and let's move this much. Okay, that distance. So we're going to set parameters: the minimum, maximum, minimum, maximum here, kind of thing. So depending on what it does, we're gonna be able to kind of make sure it's going in the direction that we want it to go. It's above a certain criteria, and also is increasing or decreasing. All right, because at any one point we don't know what's happening without these parameters. It's really weird because we don't know how it's moving without the direction, the velocity in a sense, and you know, the direction is moving, is increasing, decreasing, or is the moving average starting to, and the gap starting to close out. All right, so if this gap gets bigger, then we know it's going to move in the positive direction. We're gonna, you know, we want a long, but then how far in the long? Is it just beginning? We want a long down here, not when it's starting to decline and long in the top. Okay, so anyways, hopefully, you know, I've been trying to, you know, wrap my head around this myself and kind of think about different ways and how to organize this, and it's just I'm just like so taking lots of showers and thinking about this. Hopefully I didn't confuse you more, but hopefully you kind of see that there's all these possibilities that at any one point it can either continue down, it can go up, it can be above the line or below the line, it can be positive, negative. So the increasing, decreasing is probably the most important thing, is knowing when it just increases, when it switches over from decreasing to increasing, might be the best point to entry. And if it continue increases, but if we enter on an increasing point, we might be entering at the end of the increasing to a decreasing point, which could suck, right? You'd be long in the top. And so we might have to have a criteria, the second one that says, that tracks the flags, like, hey, I just recently switched from increasing to decreasing. This is a transition point that you might want to be an entry point, instead of entering in the middle somewhere and not have enough room to ride it out and make that profit. Okay, otherwise you get stuck on top and then it takes off without you, kind of thing. So I see many ways where we can ruin ourselves if we don't properly pick these points and be patient for it to go. Okay, so we've seen times where we actually try to chase, and we finally chase it, and we hit it right at the top, and just so it could and fill us so that it can go the other direction, you know, and that really sucks. Okay, all right, well, we were